Okay, so now that we got What You Doing wrapped up, we got a couple more things for you this week. Which one do you want to do first? You want to do the review, or do you want to talk about the IMDb top 100?
Let's do our movie, David.
Okay. I'm going to go a little bit out of order here.
Or do the other one, whatever.
No, I like
You're
it.
the producer, David.
Let's mix it up. This week, each week in the podcast, we're going to be taking a look, breaking down the top 100 movies of all time, greatest movies of all time according to IMDb.com. I think I put a link in the show notes. I think I did.
Yeah, then this week we watched the 1965 classic For a Few Dollars More.
This is number 98 on the list?
98,
So
yes.
we already did, I'm not going to do this every week, but the number 100 was The Apartment, which you can watch that video, and then number 99 was Rashomon. And then this week, again, is, like you said.
For a Few Dollars More, starring, obviously, Clint Eastwood is the big guy. Lee Van Cleef, directed by Sergio Leone.
Yes.
Leone?
Leon, I think is how you say it.
Leone, Western classic, and as I mentioned before, you said that you watched a lot of Westerns growing up. I did not. I don't know really why, but
anyways, what we'll do is we'll give you kind of what the movie's about without spoiling it. Then we'll give you our review, what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we'll get into spoiler territory. So if you want to watch along, because we're going to do this every week. I think next week's like LA Confidential, so you can watch along with us. Send us your emails too, because I want to know what you guys thought, or let us know in the comments what you thought about these movies, because I'm always interested. Because again, some of these are older movies.
I know a couple listeners are watching with us too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool. So again, stars Clint Eastwood. This is like Sergio Leone. You might know he directed other classic westerns. Fistful of Dollars, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly,
which are probably on this list as well. As we start climbing,
Once Upon a Time in the West. So these are all like classic. Now, when you think of like a western, like old school spaghetti western, this is what you kind of think of in some.
Oh yeah, you have the weird gun sound. You got the whistling. You got the lot of audio cues of like everything. You got the punching sound. It's classic, and I love it.
Yeah, it's about two bounty hunters with the same intentions team up to track down a outlaw. This like hardcore bad guy. Mm-hmm. Which again, watching these old movies, we were talking about this earlier. All of the bad guys have to have like this ridiculous cackle to indicate to the audience that they're
merciful laugh.
Yeah, that they're the bad
or
guys.
Maniacal laugh.
It's like so over the top. It's fantastic. But the first thing is, when you get into this movie, the very first thing you hear is, it's like classic. The whistling. And I wrote here, the intro credits are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they crawl. Should we do our review, David?
Well, let's. So now that you know
Before
what the movie's about, let's
talk
talk about a review. Now, again, this is weighted on a different scale than other reviews.
Yeah, so thumbs up means it belongs where it's at on the list. It's a great movie. It belongs where it's at. Side movie is obviously it's a good movie. It's top 100, but maybe we don't think it should be where it's at. And the bottom is just like, what is this movie?
Someone messed
here?
up. There was an accounting error.
Yeah, exactly. So, David.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, both thumbs up. The second this started, I was like in love with it because, again, this is actually really good to be juxtaposition against Rashomon that we watched last week. Again, I talked about with the Western culture, you don't have that background of like the samurai, right? Which maybe somebody in Japan or on the east side of the world is going to
identify with.
Yeah, and so this is what I identify with is like classic old school movies, right? The strong cowboy who's gonna take no crap from nobody.
Man, a few words.
Yeah, great. So I absolutely love this movie from the get-go.
Yeah, same here.
From go. The credits had me. And you
crawling along the dirt and it shows up and stuff.
And it's just like the first
incident. And it's all hand done too. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and the music, like the classic, and the gunshots. Yeah, it's so great. And it does. This movie is that classic one where it's like they're both just staring each other down and they're playing the.
Yeah, the Mexican stand-up, what they say,
yeah,
right?
Fantastic.
Yeah, every single conflict is resolved using two guys standing at the other opposite end of a dirt road.
Yeah, and again, both actors in this, Clint Eastwood and his name's Clive. I can't remember his name.
Van Cleef.
He's fantastic. Like they're both bounty hunters. They're kind of renowned bounty hunters, and they ultimately, they ultimately kind of were trying to go against this same super ultra bad guy.
And I put in my notes like Clint Eastwood's in this and he's headlining obviously, but he must have been a big star by then. This must not be the first one.
He wasn't
because the Van Cleef guy I thought was kind of the main character.
They're split. It's about
you see him from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Though it's Clint Eastwood who walks away in the sunset at the end. Well, they both do technically.
Clint Eastwood gets the greatest intro of all time. It's that classic one. He walks. First of all, it's raining outside. He lights a cigarette, and like we were joking about.
I told you this before. Like cigarettes, not cool. You guys do not smoke cigarettes. But if I was a kid watching these westerns, man, cigarette smoking looks so cool.
Yeah, they make it look super cool.
Lighting matches wherever you want. You know, you don't need that stupid strip. You can just light up and cigarillos, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Clint Eastwood kind of plays the younger bounty hunter who's this kind of
inexperienced.
Not inexperienced, but he's like he's the one that's going to walk up to you and shoot you right in the. He's not going to do anything clever, right? He's going to come in, he's just going to punch you in the face and try to take out all your guys.
Where Van Cleef's like the more aged. He's got the weird gadgets. He's like, you kill people with these things, or like
yeah,
whatever,
like the long-barreled guns,
weird attachments and stuff like that. I've been doing this for a long time, you know.
Yeah, so it's cool to see again that because they don't really meet each other until probably about maybe like a quarter into the movie, where they actually come together because they kind of again they're bounty hunters are trying to collect a bounty. So
they're called bounty killers.
Yeah, back in the day, they don't
so
hunt.
It's like dead or alive. You would just want the dead.
Yeah, it was easier. But you meet the bad guy. It's this guy named Indio, and he is in jail.
El Indio, the Indian. Yeah.
Yeah, and like for instance, they like immediately they make him like the most evil bad guy. He gets broken out of prison by his gang and kills his cellmate instantly.
Yep,
it's like, oh, this is the bad guy. Got it. Check. Like, but all of what's interesting about all these movies. I'm not going to spoil much more, but like we'll get into the spoiler territory. The thing why this movie again, why it's on the list is you immediately recognize how much movies like this have influenced so much other media.
Oh yeah, the formula. Yeah.
And the one why this strikes me so much is Hideo Kojima, who is the developer of Metal Gear Solid, which again, if you're a humble listener of this podcast, you know that's my favorite gaming series. He is in love with these kind of movies. The Solid Snake is Clint Eastwood. He's the silent, strong type who's like the ultra, badass, won't take crap from nobody. And it's even the shots and the movement and the way that music, it's over the top and it's on the nose and it's just done to the furthest. There's a scene where it like cuts back and forth to their eyes and it gets faster. It's like, and it's like it's so ridiculous.
You see it now, it's like, oh, this is kind of cheesy, But that's where a lot of that. Yeah, the parody and stuff came from are these old Western movies. Yeah,
and there's just some of the dialogue in this is just amazing. Like they're talking about, because one of the things they eventually, of course, meet and they're trying to work together to take down this one guy, and they're trying to make a proposition about like, hey, we should the older bounty hunter, the more wise. He's like, hey, look, we need to work together.
Right.
And he's like, well, there's 4, and he's like, why would I do that? And he's like, well, there's multiple reasons. He's like, the first one is it's 14-1, and he's like, so it would be helpful if it was if we had teamed up. And he's like, well, I don't think I need your help. He's like, okay, well then it'll be 15-1.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are classic lines of like, or 14-2. And then
this guy has a $10,000 bounty, the main guy. So it's like, obviously they both want the money.
Right.
So first I was going to be like, well, that's the big bad guy, but are they going to be like against each other? And there were like quips back and forth, you know? It's kind of cool to see that.
So, is there anything you didn't like about it? Because I think we've kind of gushed about what we did like.
I didn't really, unlike a lot of... It's really dark. Like, there's stuff that there's done in this movie that you wouldn't even see in modern. Like, there's rapes involved and, killing of babies.
Yeah, they don't, again, they
Once,
don't show
and
it.
It's off-screen, but, like, it's assumed. But it's definitely dark. I did say it's kind of funny because, obviously, when this movie came out, you saw it in the old theater and stuff. Not a lot of quality to this, but now there's HD remakes of this stuff, and I watched a 1080p version of it. Everyone is so sweaty and dirty. Does anyone take a shower in this?
No, it's the West, man.
I know.
They just keep filming.
But it's so obvious. It is weird. The sound is kind of off, but
That's
I think
the thing
it's
I didn't
just
like.
the way, you didn't really have mics out in the open because you would pick up a whole bunch of stuff. You didn't really have the technology. So you'd film it and then you'd record the audio separately and then dub it over. And the dubbing isn't done very well.
Oh, it's terrible.
But I think that's just the technology.
And I don't know if that's necessarily true. I'd be interested. I didn't watch like the director's cut. I'd love to watch it. But yeah, the audio is like we had to put subtitles on an English speaking movie because it was like, especially when characters are saying a lot of things. Again, these movies dialogue is not why you're here, right?
Yeah.
You're here for like the ridiculous like cinematography, the awesome shooting skills, like that's why you're there, and the scenery. Like it's like when you think of a Western, like seriously, I'm not joking. When you think of like Western cowboy movie,
it's this movie. Yeah.
It's this movie. But again, I think that was almost distracting to the point where it almost started to ruin the movie. Once you get further into it, there's not as much talking, so it's fine. I will say the movie at times is of course slow, but that's kind of traditional of these kind of movies. Pacing was not like It's also because of the audience, right? Like, we don't have movies like this anymore. The other thing I always note with watching these older movies is like how long the intro credits are. Like, we don't do that anymore, right? We don't
credits
show
at the end of the movie, not the beginning.
We don't show who like the main makeup artist was on the movie in the opening credits, which is kind of refreshing because at the end of the movie just ends.
Right.
It's just weird.
Just the end. No end credits scene here.
No, it's just the movie ends. There's not even like rolling credits.
Just the end done, yeah.
But like I said, those two things were distracting, but overall, I absolutely adore this movie.
I did note, just kind of overall notes, is there's a lot of twists in this movie. Like, there's one point where I'm like, whoa, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Shyamalan me.
Yeah, before Shyamalan was around.
Exactly.
Speaking of the twist, let's get into spoiler territory.
Right,
so we're going to start talking about the movie in more specific. So if you haven't seen it or if you want to see it, go watch it, come back, watch this. And then we'll tell you, again, we're going to watch these movies every week. So if you want to catch up and watch along, then you can just listen to this part throughout.
So...
Spoiler town.
Yeah, spoiler town. So some of my favorite parts of this movie is like some of the ridiculous stuff they do with guns.
Yeah.
Right? So like, first of all, the ultimate like F you is stepping on someone's boot.
Oh, big time.
And I mean, even nowadays you can kind of say that, right? It's
Scuff
like,
my
you dirtied
kicks.
up my kicks, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he goes up to the guy, he just like go really close. I'm like, oh, someone gonna punch him? He's like, nope, just steps on his boot. And I was like, oh no, man!
World Star,
he stepped on his boot. And the other guy steps back, and it's just squinting even harder. And then they break out the guns, right? Shoots his hat off and then like it's the driving away, and like you gotta open the door, drive a little more. Yeah. So he keeps shooting his hat, and then the
guy keeps trying to pick it up. He keeps shooting it further and further.
And then he misses, and then now Van Cleave's, and now it's his turn, right? Shoots off the hat off Clint Eastwood, but then shoots into the air, multiple. Beer, 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 beer. And then, of course, there's no holes in anything.
No, of course not.
No, there's no... When people get shot, barely any blood.
Well, back then, I think
you
it
just
was...
flew away when you got shot.
There's one shot where the bad guy, Indio, kills somebody, and he falls down a set of stairs. You right there?
Yeah, we're good.
He falls down a set of stairs, and the dude, like, whoever the actor was, like, cracks his head on the back of the wall. I was like, what... Dude, that guy should have got an extra paycheck. Like, the scene in here that... right from the get go, when you see Clint Eastwood, it's in the rain, pouring down. He's got his horse. He's got his poncho on. He's lighting a cigarette. He looks up real slow from his hat, like
squinty eyes.
You can't write that stuff, man. That's so badass. It's like then he walks into this bar because he's trying to get a bounty on this guy. Walks into a bar, walks right up to somebody and says, "Where's this guy?" Oh, he's over there. He's sitting at the poker table. Walks up and just immediately, basically, stares down this guy, and he's playing poker, right? So he grabs a deck of cards, and they play 5 draw, right? Which is like no one
card stud or whatever.
Yeah, it's like no one plays that, man.
It's
it
not
should
Hold'em
be
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it wasn't Hold'em for a long time. That's like 20 years Hold'ems. Anyways, he beats him. He has 3 kings. He has 3 aces, and he's like, "Well, I don't remember what I was betting." He grabs him, "Your life," and he's like, "This is badass." And all of this, he's using just his left hand. Right, his right hand's next to his gun. And he slaps him and he beats him and punches him and blocks him all with the one arm. It's just like, dude, you are so badass. Of course, he's about to kill this guy, right? Because he's about to take the bounty. And his 3 buds walk in behind Clint Eastwood through the door, the swinging doors.
And all you see him is them on the mirror, right? Yeah,
sees him in the mirror at the bar. Turns around, kills all 3 of them.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, does the quick draw, just murders all of them. And it's just like, dude, it's so ridiculous and it's so just dumb and it's so awesome.
So cool, man.
No, but that's what I mean. It's like
going back to like some of the stuff they do with these guns. First of all, they're like sniping stuff with a freaking.
Well, he's got the long barrel.
Yeah, but like they're toward the end of the movie, they're in that other town, and that kid's trying to get fruit randomly while everyone's away.
The apples off the
and
tree.
He's like, "Let me help him." And like all the apples fall out the tree, and that like impresses the other guys to run away. It's so ridiculous.
All of it's great. I do like how Mortimer, who's the older bounty hunter, he's kind of trained in not just being a bounty hunter, but he knows like a lot of stuff. He knows like chemistry because he, again,
that was one of the twists where it's like, oh, I'll help you open that safe without you demolishing. I was like, whoa.
Well, the other thing that's interesting about this whole movie is obviously they're trying to work together, but Clint Eastwood's kind of this. He's the more brash. He's the younger bounty killer, and he's like, I can do it all by myself. I don't need nobody's help. I'll take them all out, right? And Mortimer kind of knows that because he's like, I was like you once, right?
Yeah.
So he tells him, hey, we need somebody on the inside. We need somebody on the outside to take down this gang. So you need to like essentially become one of the gangsters in Indio's gang, so that the fighting happens from both sides. When the S hits the F, you'll start shooting them from your side, and I'll start shooting them from my side.
Right.
And so he's like, okay, that works. What do I have to do? Well, he's got to break out. You got to break out one of his boys out of a prison that's up here. And like that whole prison escape, I was like, it's that easy. He just liked, and I love he just goes down.
He
lights a stick of dynamite, wakes up the guy in his cell, and the guy's like, he just looks at him through the prison window and he puts a stick of dynamite and he's like tips his hat and the guy freaks out because he's like, oh God, like there's a piece of dynamite in my jail cell. But I was just like, it's so easy to break these guys out. He just jumps out of it.
No guards on the outside.
No, of course not. But he gets into the gang, of course, and I love Clint Eastwood's dialogue because they're like, so why did you break him out? He's like, well, I'm probably going to, there's a big bounty on all you guys. I'm going to probably take you. Like, he's telling him the truth. And like the whole time he's like, that's the only answer you'd get away with that I would trust you. Cause if you said anything else, and he's like actually telling him the truth. So classic. Like, love that stuff. Obviously the big scene in this whole movie is Indio stealing this big bank in El Paso, which is like this well-guarded palace, but the whole point of the movie is that his old cellmate that he was in prison at the very beginning that he kills told him about this safe that he made out of wood, which was like this, inconspicuous. No one would think that was what was full of money. It's the big, steel safe, right? Because that's what everybody goes to. They, of course, steal it, and so it becomes this chasing thing where Mortimer and Monco, which is Clint Eastwood's character, are trying to track him down and not break their characters. It's very, again, this is influences like, oh God, what was that movie with DiCaprio?
Catch Me If You Can?
No, the one where he's trying to be why are you trying to be a co-op, eh?
The Departed.
The Departed, Gangs of New York. It's all about putting in the mole on the the good guys putting in a mole in the bad guys team, and then like trying not to blow your cover. So again, that's all influenced again by kind of this movie.
Like there's a part where like Clint Eastwood goes along with like 3 other guys.
Yeah,
and he's the one that comes back alive because he kills them, and he goes back to the bad guys. They're like, what happened to the other guys? You escaped with your own life, didn't you? You just left them there. And he was just like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm a bandit, right?
And the main guy's like, oh, okay. Like, wouldn't you second guess that a little bit? You know what I mean?
Right. So
then he got a scratch on his neck.
He got shot in the neck. Everyone in this movie has amazing accuracy. Like no one misses, right? But then there's these twists, right? So you're always like, well, what's his motivation? Because Mortimer keeps telling Monco, he's like, hey, let me get the bad guy. I want to kill him. Like, let me get the coup de grace. Like, let me kill the dude. And he's like, whatever. Like, I just want to collect the bounty, right? And you keep having these flashbacks, and there's this whole piece of story that's being told about this music being played from this locket. And both Mortimer has a locket, and then India, the bad guy, have a locket. And this music plays, and he does this whole thing like, when the music stops, you draw and try to kill me, right? It's very cool. And the music is very angelic because it's playing like music box music.
Yeah. Which I think is impossible to have a little tiny watch.
That's what I thought.
But whatever.
But
it was very loud, that watch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, everyone can hear it. It's like, so it's interesting to have this backdrop of like murder right after this like beautiful music box sound, which is cool. I like that. But they do these flashbacks to where he got it and where Mortimer got it. And I don't know if you notice this, but the music playing is the music box music, but it's played like backwards or like out of tune, and it's so like unsettling.
Like distorted, yeah.
Yeah, it's all distorted. It reminds me of like, in the Beatles, that classic got out of bed, brush comb across my head. I can't remember the name of the song, but they told the whole orchestra in that song to play out of key, and it's like the most like it hurts your ears and makes it sound weird, and they pull that off beautifully here because there's this whole flashback where the bad guy raped and there's some like hardcore. That's the thing you were talking
boobies.
About. Yeah, like rapes this girl, and he has his gun on the bed, and she grabs the gun, and then you're like, oh, she's gonna try to shoot him, and then he's gonna kill her, and it's like way more like dark than that.
Yeah.
Darker than that. She kills herself. She just shoots herself in the stomach because she can't deal with like this guy this terrible person raping her after he killed her, like it seemed lover, whatever. So the whole time I'm thinking like, oh, Mortimer is the boy and he survived somehow. He's going to show the bullet wounds.
Yeah.
But later in the movie it's revealed that
very end.
He's the brother. They don't really, the thing about this movie, specifics are not important.
No.
It's a bad guy, good guy. And that's all that really matters. And that's the only part at the end of the movie that's a little anticlimactic. Like, there's definitely the showdown, and I do love...
Oh my god, that showdown! You're like, oh my god, he's gonna kill
Mortimer.
Exactly.
No,
yeah, he's gonna kill Mortimer, and then like out of nowhere, you hear the music again.
Because again, both of them have a locket. Because if you are listening to spoilers, you're not gonna watch this. Mortimer has the same locket because it seemed like the girl that was killed got one, and the
guy was supposed to get one.
Yeah, they were going to share a locket, a picture, but she's in pictures in both of them, which is weird. Why would you carry a locket of your own face? Anyways, the point being is at the very end, he's doing the draw thing to Mortimer, the bad guy. Indio is doing the thing to Mortimer, and he's like, when the sound ends out of this, you got to draw. But at the very last second, when it seems like it's going to end, Clint Eastwood comes with, he stole Mortimer's watch and opens it up, and the music continues to play. And it's just, and he's like, don't you grab that gun, or you'll blow your face off. Like, so again, it's just, and then of course the good guys win, all that stuff.
Right up to the sunset, Clint Eastwood's character with a wagon full of bodies to claim the bounty. Oh my god, that part where he's like counting the bounty. He's like, let's say 10, we got 12, we got 13, 4. Then he like does the math
24?
wrong.
Yeah.
He's like 24.
It's supposed to be 27.
Yeah, and then one of the guys that were supposed to shot comes up behind him, is going to shoot him, turns around, shoots him really quick, and Mortimer, as he goes away,
you
he's
okay?
like, you okay with that, boy? He's like, oh, I thought I miscounted, but we're good. It's like so awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it's just over the top. Again, the movie is like, it's on the nose so much that it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think if you had a background of like knowing like American Cowboys and all that stuff, you wouldn't have the same type of love for it. There are some definite twists in here about the bad guy. The bad guy he says he knew they were bounty killers.
Oh yeah, when they're
time.
like escaping the thing and they find someone's shoulder and they're like, oh crap, we've been had.
Yeah, exactly.
That was funny.
Yeah, and like and then there's another twist because then the bad guy gets just him and his closest ally, his Nino, to
kill everyone else, so they don't have to split the money.
Yeah, so then they can split the money that's in the safe. So there's a lot of like there's nuance to this story about how much the bad guy knows, how much the bad guy doesn't know, how much the bounty killers know, how much they don't know. And I did like the back and forth between the two of them having that juxtaposition of
there's some humor there too.
Oh, definitely. There's some great humor about like, hey man, why would you? He's like, I'm 50 years old, man, or however he's old. He's like, I've lived pretty long. Because I'm like thinking in the whole time, I'm like, I told us, I was like, man, life expectancy in the West is not very long. Like people getting killed all the time and no big deals. Like the bartender, like, why are you trying to commit suicide in my bar? Like, you crazy, man. Don't be, because they would light a match off of someone's shoulder. It's like, you don't do that, man.
No, yeah.
But yeah, two pro tips. Don't step on someone's boots and don't light a match on someone's shoulder because they will just straight up end you.
Yeah, that's reasons to murder you.
Yeah. So again, that was for a few dollars more, 1965 classic. Go watch it again. It's just so good. There are a few more westerns on here. This is by far not the best western, and that's a hotel. But anyways, you know what I mean. It was too easy. Next week, we are going to take a look at a modern movie.
The 1997 movie, David.
Yes.
L.A. Confidential.
This is number 97 on the list.
Starring Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kim Basinger, and Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Directed by Curtis Hanson.
Yeah, you said you have not seen this movie.
Yeah, I may have seen, like, maybe my mom was watching, I was there, but I do not remember anything about this movie, so I'm just saying,
I've seen it. This movie is so good. I'm so excited to watch it again. My wife has not seen it.
Cool.
It's a great cop drama, like just fantastic.
Excited.
It's a little long, if I remember correctly. It is a little long, but it's really good.
All these movies so far have been kind of long.
Yeah, they're all about like 2 hours.
The Apartment, but everything else has been over 2 hours.
No, The Apartment was 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, it was long.
Oh, wow. Everything's been over 2 hours so far. These first
hey,
three.
Let that be a note to filmmakers. 2 hours is okay as long as it's good.
Yeah.
So again, send us an email. Tell us what you thought, or continue to watch with us. Next week we'll talk about LA Confidential. I'm seriously super. Plus, now we're actually like getting to a movie that was around when I was born.
The week after that is Holy Grail, so back down to the old, but oh man, classics.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we got done with our pinnacle of filmical, or whatever the hell we're calling it, top 100 movies of all time, we got one more thing for you guys. This week we have a standard review.
I almost forgot.
You really? Almost forgot?
Yeah.
You thought we were done? No way, man. This week we're reviewing a board game. Let me get all this stuff out of the way because I gotta give this thing space because it's a giant board game. This is a new board game that I just bought and we got a chance to play. It is called Mansions
of Madness, second edition.
Second edition.